Hey, what's up everybody? It's Roy from India. Welcome to my channel, Roy's Academy. Make sure you watch the video to the end because if you don't, there might be some punchlines at the end of the video which is very much important for cleaning the concept. And also at the end of watching the entire video, please do hit the thumbs up button and also comment down in the comment section below and let me know if you have any personal queries or doubts. And also you can show me your love and affection by subscribing my channel. So please do subscribe my channel and help me grow my channel more and more for you people so that I can help benefit you people with more such videos. Thank you. Before going into the synthesis part, how the process, we have to learn about the enzyme first, which is very important in GATE. So in enzyme, this also lies in the inner membrane of the mitochondria. Okay, I have shown you the mitochondrial. I have shown you the diagram again. It can be easier to understand. Okay. This is the mitochondria, and this part is the inner membrane. Okay. Now here the cristae, these are the cristae, right? These things are known as the cristae or folds of the inner membrane, and that is the outer membrane. Now this cristae is having two particles actually, the F1 particle and F0 particle. This F1 and F0, this is a complex. F1, F0, this is a complex of ATP synthetase enzyme. Now the thing is here the ATP synthetase is having F1 and F0 subunit. These two are subunits. Okay. Subunits. Now these F1 and F0 subunits are attached in that stalk-like structure. This is what a stalk is. This is what a stalk is. This is the F1 F0 complex that I have shown here. This entire amplified or magnified structure that I have shown, this is nothing but this. Okay. The small tiny, that this dot-like structure, that bulbular structure, stalk-like structure, dot on a stick. These are called the stalks. F1 F0 stalks. This stalk is like this. The entire thing is called stalk. F1 F0 stalk. Okay. Now, what is this thing actually? This looks like the that क्या बोलते हैं वो जो चेस है ना, चेस के जो वो ये है सिपाही है फिर कोई दारवान जैसा कुछ है वो जो है that those the coins of the chess, right? Now that definitely looks like this only here. Now what happens? I will show you the real structure now. What it is. So here ATP synthetase enzyme looks like this. Okay.
Video stop.
Yes. Are you able to see the diagram properly? Is it visibly clearly visible? Huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, so sorry, here another unit is present. Yeah. So this coin of chess is actually this structure. Okay, this is the entire structure of ATP synthetase. Okay. Now this F1 subunit, F1 subunit consists of 5 subunits or 5 microunits of the nucleotide. Okay. Namely these are alpha 3, beta 3, gamma, delta and epsilon. Okay. So there are 3 alpha nucleotides, there are 3 beta nucleotides and 1 gamma nucleotide, 1 delta and 1 epsilon. Okay. So this F1 subunit, these units, all these units are arranged in a hexameric form. Hexamer means this is the hexameric form.
So repeat.
These all this alpha 3 and the beta 3, okay, these 3 plus 3 6 nucleotides micro subunits or microunits are arranged in this 6 hexamer. Hexamer means the geometrical figure having 6 sides. Okay, so this is one, this is one, this is another one. This here 3 same, and this like this same, these 3 units here, another 3 units are present. But this alpha and beta are arranged in alternate form. Alternate form means here it would be alpha, here it's beta, here again it is alpha, here again it is beta, here it is alpha, here again it is beta. Okay, this is what the alternate arrangement of the subunits is, and this is called hexameric. Hexameric arrangement. And now after this gamma and this epsilon, these two, this gamma and this epsilon, these two form a stock. This is here it is the gamma and here it is the epsilon. This is the stock. Okay, stock of the hexameric head of the F1 subunit. This is called the F1 subunit. Okay, this entire thing up to here is called F1. This one, this F1 only, this one, F1 subunit. And this delta, the delta subunit is present here. This one is the delta subunit. Now this is the F naught subunit. F naught. This part is the F naught. F naught subunit is having 3 micro subunits or 3 sub subunits. The F naught group. This is A, B2 and C 10 to 12.
Sir, your video stopped. Yeah.
Okay, this F naught subunit is having 3 micro subunits, that is A, B2 and C 10 to 12. F naught complex. So this F1 complex is there, or F1 subunit, and F naught subunit is there. So both this coin-like structure of the chess is now becoming clear. This was the microscopic structure which I amplified to coin, and this is the entire structure. So here the B2, namely as per the mathematics, the number of the nucleotides that are present, this B2 subunit is present here. Look carefully, there are 2 nucleotide strands. There are two units that is linking the hexameric head with the F naught base, hexameric head of the F1 subunit with the base of the F naught complex of the F naught subunit. So there are 2 linkages. These 2 subunits are linking this hexameric head with the base. These two linkages are B and here another B. So that's why B2, two B subunits are present. And one A unit is present. That A unit is present here. A. Okay. What are the functions of all this? I will discuss right now only. And the C10 to 12, these C10 to 12 units are present here. C10 to 12. C10 to 12 subunits are present here. The base of the F1 subunit. Now what happens is, when during the proton formation of the electrochemical gradient or the proton gradient, what happens? The F naught, this whole complex is present within the cristae part. This cristae is actually present in the innermost membrane, the fold of the innermost membrane of mitochondria. Now this whole subunit or the complex F1 F naught complex is present attached with the cristae part. So what is the function of all of this? First I will segregate the function into two major complexes, that is F1 complex and F naught complex. The function of the F naught complex is to pump the proton. We pump the proton out of where? Pump the proton out of the mitochondrial matrix. Okay. So F naught complex pumps the proton, that is H plus, from the N side or the mitochondrial matrix side. Now this in the absence of F1 subunit, when the F1 subunit, this entire subunit is not present at all, then this center, the portion that is lying in the center, okay, this portion.
So how will it be that it will not be present? In what case?
अरे बोलते जाओ आगे दूध तरी.
Acha. Okay.
Say the F1 complex is not, if suppose it is not present, okay,
Yeah.
then what will happen is there will be a pore, a vacant, there have vacant chamber, a hollow bore-like structure will be present in the base of the F0 complex. So the F0 complex, what will it do? It will pump the protons vigorously out of the mitochondrial matrix to the cytosol. Okay, during the electron transport chain. So what is happening? Why the F1 complex is not present at a time? It is getting detached. Okay, because the electron transport chain is creating an electrochemical gradient, right? Which I taught you right now.
Please repeat because your video stopped.
What I'm telling is, electron transport chain created an electrochemical gradient, right? That electrochemical gradient helped in creating an electrochemical gradient helped in pumping the proton out of the matrix to the cytosol side.
Yes.
So when the electron transport chain was so powerful that it could generate a proton pump or a electrochemical gradient, at that time what happened? This F1 complex or F1 subunit of the ATP synthetase enzyme temporarily gets detached from the F0 base, temporarily, tentatively, for time being, due to the pressure of the electrochemical gradient, due to the voltage difference of the matrix and the inner membrane. Okay, the F1 subunit gets detached, but detached how? Detached means in this way, it is getting detached. This is the base of the F1, F0 subunit, this is the base, right? And here the constriction, the hollow is being created here in the F1 subunit. Now this in this F0 subunit, this is F0, where the hollow chamber is being created. This is the hollow chamber. Now when the F1 subunit or complex is getting detached, it is getting detached in this way. This is how the detachment happens, and from this hollow complex, enormous number of H plus protons are getting removed from the N side to the P side. And detachment means it is not getting permanently detached or separated from the complex. It is thereby guarded by this B2 of F naught complex, that is 2 beta nucleotides or beta subnucleotide protein subunit of the F naught complex, which helps in keeping attached the F1 temporarily with this beta subunit along with the F naught. Are you able to understand now how the detachment is happening? Okay, it is not that it is totally getting detached. Okay, this is how the detachment is happening. So when this phenomena happens, enormous number of protons are getting pumped out. Pumped out where? In the p side, in the electron transport chain. So at that case, what happens? The creation of the creation of the proper proton pump or electrochemical gradient will not be possible, because if all the protons go out of the mitochondrial matrix suddenly, suddenly go out, that is a error-prone process of the cell or mitochondria. That is a very erroneous process that cannot happen by the normal biological processes. That is against the biological process actually. So in order to, if that happens, then furthermore the electron transport chain would not be possible. And if the electron transport chain is not possible, there would be a sudden death of that particular organism, because electron transport chain is such a chain that it is very much necessary to transport the electron from one part, that is from the cycles, biochemical cycles of the cell, and to form a proton or to deliberate energy and ultimately get reduced to the water molecule by the oxygen, by the electron acceptor oxygen. Okay, that is very much important. So if the electron transport chain is being blocked anyway, then tetanus happens, tetanus phase. And if the tetanus happens, then the person, for time being, if the proper treatment is not given in the instantly, the person might be, the death is inevitable. Death cannot be stopped, cannot be avoided. So for that, in order to maintain the balance of the proton pump or the proton gradient, immediately these B stocks, the B subunits of the F naught complex, what it does, it puts back this entire structure of the F1 complex into the F naught complex. It again plugs in the F1 structure into the F naught complex, thereby blocks this hole of the F naught subunit into the F naught complex and blocks this completely. And when again this plugging happens, that is a complete blockage of this entire hole of the F naught subunit or F naught complex, this complete plugging happens or blockage happens, then further no more protons can vigorously go out from the matrix to the outer side. And in that case, the F1 F naught, this complex can be again reformed newly or freshly, and when this F naught F1 complex is again reformed, then in that turn ATP synthesis happens. So now the science is, or concept is, after one cycle of electron transport chain, within the intermediate cycles of the electron transport chain, what the ATP synthetase, the enzyme ATP synthetase tries to function in order to synthesize the ATP molecule. So when each time the proton is being pumped by the electron transport chain, actually the pump, who is the pump? That proton pump, who is that pump? That is nothing but this ATP synthesis enzyme itself. This entire thing is the pump. This ATP synthetase enzyme is the pump which helps in pumping out the protons. So every time what is happening, this F1 subunit is getting detached from the F0 complex, and the proton is the number of protons, the desired number or required number of protons are being pumped out, and once the protons are being pumped out, then for the subsequent stages of the electron transport chain, again this B subunit, this B portion of the F0 subunit again plugs back the F1 subunit into this, so that within the intermediate stages of all the four complexes of the electron transport chain, it is prevented that excess number of protons go out of the mitochondrial matrix within the cytoplasm, so that the electron transport chain can function smoothly, and also the normal physiological processes of the body is being kept healthy, is being kept within balance. Okay, so this is how the ATP synthesis is functioning beautifully. Okay, now the thing is, this is the function of B portion of the F0 subunit. Now, what is the function of this delta? The delta portion of the F1 complex helps in attaching or clamping the B portion with the F0 portion, C portion. This delta portion is of what? Delta portion is of F1 subunit. This delta portion of F1 subunit helps in attaching or acts as a screw, nut, it acts as a nut, like we fit nut bolt into the electronic sphere parts and all. In order to fit a circuit with another dynamo or a motor or a gear, we need another screw or something in order to attach all the parts. So everywhere there is a lock and key type of mechanism going on in order to attach one part with another part. Everywhere there, so that is very mechanical. So the ATP synthetase enzyme, this entire process or the entire thing entire enzyme is very mechanical, because this is a pump, na. So that is very mechanical. So the delta subunit helps in attaching the B portion of the F0 subunit with the C portion of the F0 subunit. But the delta subunit itself is of F1 portion, F1 complex. Okay, F1 is having delta, and this A portion, A of F0 is functioning the same like the delta subunit. Okay, so this is what the hinge portion or the mechanical arm of the ATP synthetase. This entire A, B and delta is called the mechanical arm of the ATP synthetase enzyme or ATP synthetase complex. And this ATP synthetase entirely can be also renamed as F1 F0 complex. Okay, and now I will discuss about the function of this part, this main functioning part. So this gamma and this portion, this gamma epsilon, this part is called stalk. Okay, this part is called stalk. The gamma and epsilon, this is called stalk, and this C10 to 12, this part is called rotor. Okay, that rotates around the stalk.
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is like the same principle of the dynamo, DC motor, the direct current motor or the dynamo, whatever it is, the same principle like that. When it's not that always the protons are being pumped when the F1 subunit is detached from the F0 subunit. It is not always like that. Why? Because if it is always like that, then vigorously innumerable number of protons would be pumped out of the mitochondrial matrix. And if the innumerable number of protons are pumped out, then it would be a Renard-Cohn process, like I said. So the F1 subunit needs to be plugged in instantly into the F0 subunit or the F0 complex. Now,
Yeah.
I write it as a complex, then it would be better actually. So I can explain it properly. This is F1 complex, and this is also F0 complex. Okay. Now what happens is uh, this the protons when the F0 F1 subunit is plugged back into the F0, this rotor rotates around this stalk or gamma epsilon stalk. This rotor rotates due to the action of centripetal force. Centripetal force. The centripetal force is being generated by the electrochemical gradient of the electron transport chain. For that reason, what happens is that creates a reaction on this F0 subunit or F0 complex. And due to the reaction of that same thing, this helps in rotation. This helps in rotation of the F0 complex. And once this gets rotates, the hydrogen ion or the protons, the H plus ions, which are coming from the inside, gets along with this gets rotated like this. It is coming and getting rotated crosswise. Then it is coming here and pumped out like this here. This place. Okay, so are you able to understand which direction it is rotating? Like this, rotating, and once it rotates, and then after completing one turn, almost completely 1 360-degree turn, due to the centripetal force, the tangentially the H plus ions are being pumped upward. Not tangentially, sorry, perpendicular to the tangential, normal to the tangent, because tangentially means it would go in this direction. H plus ions will come in this direction. That is what tangent is, because this is the circle. This is the circle, and tangent to this would be perpendicular to the radius of the circle. Okay, and this is what happened. This is the tangent, and this is perpendicular to the tangent. Okay, so instead of going this side, H plus ion going this side, it gets pumped in the vertical direction, upward vertical direction. So while this, how is this happening? This is happening due to the fact that when the ATP synthesis happens, okay, ADP plus Pi, it also helps in pumping the proton out of the mitochondrial matrix like this way. So the H plus ions, instead of moving tangentially, it goes vertically upward due to the presence of this hexameric head. This hexameric head, it creates a it also rotates. This hexameric head it rotates in this direction. Okay, it is also having a spinning direction, spinning effect. So both of these centripetal reactions, this one also and this one also, both of these centripetal reactions helps in creating a force which a driving force which helps in driving the H plus.
Sir, video has stopped.
This spinning force of the hexameric head containing the alpha and beta subunits. Okay, this spinning force helps in creating a driving force which helps in driving or drawing the proton out from the N side to the P side. Okay, so that is why instead of going tangentially, the proton gets pumped up by this, because this spinning force, it creates a it creates a magnetic kind of what I'll say like a sort of a centrifugal reaction, which is called a pseudo force. Okay, due to that reason, the protons are having the H plus ions possesses an affinity to go towards the hexameric side, and once the protons reach the hexameric side, those protons will leave out of the hexameric head to the P side. Now this is all about how the ATP synthetase enzyme is functioning.